Welcome everybody. Another day, another project, and it is super hot out here today. It's temperature is only like 85, 86 degrees, but the humidity out here is just oppressive. The heat index is about 104, and it's hot. So, well, somebody over there is not happy about something, but this is the neighborhood. It's wonderful. But I'm gonna show you guys what we got. So let's take a look. All right, here's today's project. And if you guys are familiar with my channel, you have seen this lot before. I came over here about 3 years ago and cleaned this lot up. We took a bunch of tires out of the back. There was like 70 tires off the back there that we cleaned up. And then we mowed and brush cut all of this. Actually, I had to delete that video because of some audio stuff going on with it. And I actually reposted it just a few months ago. So if you're interested, you can go check that video out. But we've got to recut this. This is a city violation. And so we're not trying to beautify this lot, okay? I just want to go and kind of give the expectation here. All I have to do in here is pick up the major trash and cut what has already been cut. These trees, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about cleaning off the vines off the trees. I don't have to worry about any of that. I just have to mow this underbrush area. And that's really it. That's not much to it. Like all these little trees and stuff over here, I don't have to mulch any of that out. I just got to clean this up through here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the skid steer, and I've got the dump truck. There's some trash here in the front, and then the rest of it's pretty clean through the middle, and then there's a big pile of trash in the back. Looks like where a homeless person was living. So I'm just going to throw everything into the bucket, dump it into the dump truck, and then we're going to come back in here and mulch this out. And I'm probably going to use the mulcher just because there's a lot of trees in here, and to work around all that, I'm going to have to kind of point the mulcher in all kinds of different directions. And the mulcher will throw, but it's not as bad as throwing as the brush cutter. So I'm going to probably come in here with the mulcher and use the mulcher for this time around. So let's get started. Okay everybody, so after thinking about it, I changed my mind on using the mulcher. I think I'm just gonna use the brush cutter, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna not turn the high flow on so it's not spinning so fast and so powerful. We're not really cutting anything heavy in here. Most of this stuff is just this English ivy, some Virginia creeper. I mean, there's not much to this in here. It's very light. It's not very dense, and it's not very big. So, and going back and looking at it, remembering when I cut this a few years ago, I'm 90+% positive I cut this the last time with this. I know I used this, but I'm pretty sure I did it on low flow, and it worked great. And I think that should be fine. It shouldn't spin too fast without, you know, the high flow on to where it'll throw stuff too bad. And I'm really worried about if there's any wire or anything else, metal that might be in here. If the mulcher could hit it, might get wrapped up in it or damage the teeth. With this thing, you know, if it hits the blades, no big deal. Doesn't hurt them really. Keep on going. So that's that. And I'm gonna let this thing warm up for another minute, and we're gonna get started. All right, everybody, we're done. The only thing I got left to do is we'll run back to the office. We'll drop the machine off. I'm gonna come back with a couple of trash bags. I don't have any with me. Come back with 1 or 2 trash bags on my little grabber thing and walk back through here and just pick up as much of the loose debris as I can. And this is it. This was not a beautification job. We're just trying to do the bare minimum here. The owner just kind of wants to do the bare minimum to get him back in compliance with the city. And all that states is basically is any areas that have been mowed prior have to be mowed, and any excessive debris has to be cleaned up, and that's it. So I don't have to worry about the logs or any of that other stuff. If it's debris, pick it up. If it's been mowed, mow it, and that's really it. Don't have to worry about the vines on the trees, none of that. You'd be in here for days getting the vines off the trees if you had to come here and do that. But that's really it. Came through here with the little hedge trimmer really quick, cleaned up the front, took the blower to the street, and that's really all it is. The city will come by here, they'll take a look. If there's anything that they say needs to be tidied up, we'll tidy it up. But this is pretty much the same thing I did the last time I was here 3 years ago, and they were happy with it, so no real difference. Brush cutter did great. I'm really happy that I brought it after I started getting in here. I hit an old bed sheet or something. What ends up happening a lot is when the homeless come in here in an area like this, and granted it's been 3 years since the last time I mowed this, they'll come in here, they'll live for a bit, and then they'll leave, and they'll leave a lot of their stuff. Like a lot of times they'll leave their bedding stuff, blankets, sleeping bags, stuff like that. And what happens is over the course of a couple of years, that stuff gets covered over in leaves and moss and dirt and peat, and it's just below the surface of the ground. And if you were to come through here with a mulcher, you know, those teeth on the mulcher are designed to grab and pick up things and suck them into the mulcher. Well, you hit a bed sheet or something like that and whoop, goes right into the mulcher, and then you're having to get that out. The brush cutter, on the other hand, for something like that, a lot of times, if it can't chew it up, it's trying to kick it out. And so you can hit bed sheets and stuff like that, and because the flywheel in there is so big, there's a long way for something to have to travel in there to get to the bearing or the drive shaft way back up in there. On a lawnmower, it's a little different because the blades are right there. You know, the blade goes all the way to the shaft, but on that thing with the blade carrier underneath there, it protects the drive shaft in there. So a lot of times that kind of stuff will not get wrapped up in these. So these are really great for doing that. They just tend to kind of spit stuff, but I had this thing on low flow. I only ran it at about 75% throttle max, and it went through this stuff no problem. So if you have a landscaping business and you're running across stuff like this and you don't necessarily have a high flow machine, you can get, you know, a brush cutter with like a direct drive motor that's designed to run off of, you know, lower flow, and you know, the way they can optimize, you know, those motors now with the technology. I mean, you can really do some mowing jobs with stuff like that, even if you don't necessarily have high flow. So, you know, and with the mulchers too, you can get low flow mulchers that are great for doing underbrush and stuff like that. So if you're trying to get into this and you already have like a landscaping company and maybe you got a skid steer, you don't necessarily have to go out and dump 100 grand into a high flow machine to really kind of get, you know, started into doing work like this. So that's always cool. But anyway, that's that. So I'm gonna just need to pick up a little bit of trash, get this guy out of here, and I'm done for the day. So hope you guys enjoyed it. It's gonna be another scorcher today. The humidity's way up there. Heat index is like 105 today because of the humidity, so I'm not trying to be out here in this much longer. So hopefully it'll cool down next week and we'll get back to some more projects. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.